Welcome. This is Majesty's Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us. What you just saw in the intro, that was sort of the nice wrap up of day 4 and day 5. As you may see, it's just even just watching that, um, you 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 can feel and see the accomplishment and the healing and all of that happening, um, just right in front of you. Today, what we're going to in this episode, sorry, this episode, we've gotten a few, um, what can I say, teasers, a few teasers from a larger interview that Prince Harry gave to Omar Sachedina, who's the chief anchor for CTV News. So we have some of the short or parts of the interview. The entirety of the entire interview is going to be completed today or later today, and I'll make sure we have that also. Okay. One of the things that really struck me was Omar was doing sort of a promo for the interview, and one of his colleagues asked him about the legacy of in the Invictus Games, and also because Prince Harry does talk about his mom in the interview, and he made an interesting connection that I thought was so beautiful. You know, he said, if we could remember that iconic picture of Princess Diana standing there walking through a field filled with minds, active minds that changed the world, really. She brought attention to something that everyone told her wasn't her business. And she basically got an international treaty, accord to actually happen. And it's incredible to see what used to be a war zone in Angola and war and all of that, and Princess Diana front and center, creating change and saving lives. And the man that carries on her legacy, Prince Harry, um, is also working with soldiers and helping to heal them. You know, the irony of it, but also the love that even him as a young boy that he still feels from his mother allows him to carry on her legacy with such pride and with such determination and with such impact. Okay, let's listen to part of this before I just break down.
It's hard because kids don't always ask the right questions. There's no filter, so you either shut it down straight away, which I will never do, or you engage in the conversation. You try to explain things, but then it does. I mean, you know, Archie was talking about, as I said earlier, Archie was asking about landmines. I was talking about how some of these guys were blown up. I think IEDs, improvised explosive devices, is probably a bit too much at this stage. I found myself talking to him about mines as 5 years old, and interestingly, it gave me a chance to talk about my mum, his grandma, which I didn't even really consider. So that became the sort of the outcome of the story for him, which is he then saw videos. He wanted to see videos and photographs of his grandma Diana out doing her thing for landmines all those years ago. So it produced a very interesting conversation between me and him different to what I thought it was going to be.
I love, love, love curious kids. I love it. I love it because I I was always so that kid that was like, why? I don't understand, or explain it to me again, or I had a million questions. So as an adult, I love when kids have questions, because as Prince Harry said, and I believe the same thing, that there is no wrong question coming from a kid. You know, just delicious. It is so interesting, I think, how we can start out one way with the intention or with the idea that this is where we are heading, and destiny, fate, um, takes that conversation somewhere else that you weren't expecting it to go. And how beautiful making that connection, right? To Prince Harry talking about Invictus Games, the participants in it, Prince Archie having questions, to him responding to that question, age appropriate answer, to it leading to his mom, Archie's grandmother. And as he said, there he was now having an opportunity to talk to Prince Archie about his grandmother and the things she stood for. Oh, just hits me right in that delicate part of my heart. The other thing too, and you'll have to forgive a guy for daydreaming. I just, I can like smell it, sense it, touch it. Seeing Princess Diana living in the US next to Prince Harry and Meghan and the kids, and her just completely enjoying her grandchildren, you know. Oh boy, okay. Well, that's not what was meant to be. Um, but she did make sure that her son found a good woman. Yeah. Okay.
Now it's time, let's take a peek. Your voices shine, your words we seek. Join the chat, let's hear you say. Squad's got thoughts, let's dive today.
All right. So let's check out your comments. Paulette. Paulette, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much for that super chat. I think it's called or super thanks. You will be in a few minutes receiving the proper thank you, the proper royal thank you as a benefactor this week. Thank you so very much. It's much appreciated. And you wrote, uh, good afternoon, Antonio. Thank you for another amazing podcast. Watching replay, wonderful surprises video. Brilliant brilliant. Thank you. And all the really cool emojis. Thank you, Paulette. So here is a funny thing. I mean, the character of Rich is I had spent I don't want to say the entire week. I didn't spend the entire week, but in trying to see what the ecosystem is talking about and what's happening. After watching like a few things and reading a couple of things, I was I was like, how can I turn this into a bit of a parody, like something really ridiculous? And I was like, yeah, let's do like a body language thing because they're such oh yeah yeah. And now the the big thing is the real reason why Megan left. The real reason. Harry told her she had to go. She is ruining Invictus. I mean, can you imagine? Actually, you don't have to imagine it at all because it's what's happening. Grown people, grown people are making a living, are making a living off of this nonsense. I mean, I don't care if you're making a living off of telling the truth or uplifting people. Oy, it's so like I don't know, so weird. And I don't know how I do not know how they can do it. I do not know. But I guess you have to be a certain type of person. You really do. And for the rest of the stuff, I think what I wanted Paulette was to show the parts that were also very meaningful to me. Like all of the indigenous stuff, very important to me. Um, and I think in the broader broadcast, sometimes they kind of don't show all of it or they cut it, stuff like that. I think I missed a speech though. The speeches meant a lot also. I wanted because I don't know if everyone knew about the journey that the flag took. I mean, that just it it still it still moves me. It really does because what they did was they took the flag on the journey that their ancestors took. I oh, what's wrong with me? The the importance of the Invictus Games is I think beyond what its center core is for, right? It's for the veterans. And but it has the power to do even more. And that is what Prince Harry has done. Like I didn't even know this. I found this out the other day that Prince Harry um, spent about 20 plus hours actually reading and learning about the indigenous lands and its people. And that stuff moves me because in the world right now where man man didn't create this earth, didn't create this planet, but man has created borders and lines that tells us the people that 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 we can't cross those lines or we can't do this or we can't do that. you know I watched yesterday on the news how they deported Indians back to India and they had them on this military plane shackled. Like, what is happening to people? What is happening to people? The one of the man said we couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom. We would ask to go to the bathroom, and they wouldn't let us. I mean, These orders, executive orders, are being made. Yes, I get it. But there's something in us the people, us the human, that then execute those orders in the most cruel way possible. Like I watch these raids that they have because it's on the news and they'll show and I see brown and black cops and agents and it's like they they're doing this with zero humanity. They don't see their brother, their sister in those people. That could have been them. It's I don't understand humans. I don't understand us. I don't. We are so quick and ready to be cruel. So I wanted to show what it meant, what it means for Prince Harry to say we're going to only do this if the Four Nations allows us to. Oh, bravo. Bravo. So I wanted to show that. I also wanted to give a little bit of a history. Like some people may go, well, what's the Governor General? Right? And we have right now our very first Indigenous Governor General. And it's incredible, right? So anyways, that's what I wanted to do. That was the intent. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Um, Lakiva said, yes, let's boycott ITV. Then I've got Marie Lucas. Amazing. It gives me chills. Um, Thank you, Marie. And then Marie also said uh, heart emojis, and Carolyn also heart emojis. That's great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy you folks enjoyed it. And yeah, so the boycott of ITV. Like I only watch ITV through VPN when there's something I need to look at. But my consumption of television has been reduced to like 80 or 90%, to be quite honest. It's just I find myself trying to learn more, educate myself more on things that I don't have a real grasp on, and to try and understand it. So I prefer to do that. But yeah, I think for those living in the UK, and if you can or if you're willing to, having said that though, I think the way it works, because you guys have a box, right? And you pay for the box. Where any of this hits a TV station or channel or anything like that is through commercials, right? They're marketed. So if there's a program, like if someone wants to boycott a program, usually we'll call up the sponsors and be like, we're not watching, we're gonna boycott your product if you continue to sponsor this show. Because that is where it kind of hits them more. But in this case, look, anything that you do that is able to find community and it's done in mass, I think it is worth doing, right? Because it sends a message, even if it's a brief time or anything like that. It sends a message. I think it was great that a lot of people spoke up and how disappointed they were, because I honestly thought that ITV was carrying like Invictus. I really thought so, until I the same way I found out that they weren't carrying it or showing it. So I went to ITV looking for it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's not here! Like, what would have happened?" Right? And then the whole thing with, oh, we messed up the time. I mean, they must think. When I think about the tabloids, when I think about the answers they give, they must think that the majority of British people are stupid. I'm not joking. Like, they must think that. But let's sort of work this through a little bit, because if you think about the people who watch Fox News are the same type of people who perhaps buy the tabloid news and all of that, right? There's a certain type, and that type tends to believe whatever is told to them because they want to believe it, because it confirms the bias that they have already, the conspiracies, all of this other stuff. Because if there weren't people who were like that, you wouldn't have all these hate channels with 100,000, 300,000 subscribers. You really wouldn't. But some people just want to hate. Haters are gonna hate. I I do think, though, as many of you have expressed and I've heard, it is worrisome that the next games, right? What might happen, what might not, and how it's going to be handled. I have full, and this is why I love you folks. I really do, because we're all of the same similar mindset. We worry. We worry about this, we worry about that, we worry about everything. And we want things to go well. And when we see any suspect, we're like, okay, time to put our Wakanda suits on and like defend defend Wakanda. But I have full trust in Prince Harry and the team, and that they will do what they need to do to mitigate things, because I don't think they are naive, or I would hope not, in regards to the power that the um, monarchy still has, right? So I would say we do what we can do, um, and leave the rest. And we have to trust Prince Harry and his team, and they will do what they need to do to make sure that the Invictus Games is protected. All right, our next set of comments, and we've got comments from Anne, from Rebecca, from Hope, Reba Henderson, cookies and cream, and Susie Q. All right, perfect. So let's see what we've got. We go here from Anne. Anne said, "Please boycott ITV. We need to protest so that we prevent IG 2027 from taking place in the UK, because ITV and Willie Leaks are already sabotaging the coverage of the games in the UK. Please share. We must not let the British media ruin Harry's creation." I can't agree more with you. I think it drives me crazy when I start a sentence with "I think." So I was like, "Do you? Do you? Are you thinking though? Does anyone care what you think?" Anyways, it is my belief that I think as supporters of the Sussexes, we have the power in group, in mass, to affect change, right? To sort of make things happen. Do, as I said prior, do what is most comfortable for you, for everyone, in order to exercise that power, right? Because sometimes not everyone might be able to do the same thing, or maybe someone else has a different idea and they may want to execute it that way instead. Just don't break any laws. Be mindful. Um, but I think what needs to happen also is a sort of media awareness for people in our circles that are not sort of plugged into this stuff on a daily basis, to make them aware of what is happening. Whether it's a conversation when you're having brunch, or um, if it comes up, right? Or you can kind of say, you know what I find curious? This situation, and bring the topic up and make people aware of it. Because I think, again, in the more people know, the more they can deny the consciousness of knowing. When you know, then you do better, right? So by all the means. And I think, as much as whether it's ITV or any one of them wanting to ruin Invictus Games, they will have to remember that who they're attacking are veterans. They're attacking veterans. So I also don't know how well that will go over. But again, and I'm with you 100%. Rebecca, you wrote, awesome job as always, Antonio dear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll do it in my thank you. Thank you and thank you. One of the many characters I have in my head. Um, Hope 100 and heart emoji. Thank you very much, Hope. Riba Henderson. Riba. Riba said, thank you, Antonio. Invictus Games is fabulous and exciting. The scenery is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, stunning. The First Nations are fascinating, um, but oh, must say, Rich needs pushback. Yes, I know. Oh, Rich needs a lot of pushback. Um, he sounds like some of those UK uh, gnomes who hate Meghan because they are in love with Harry. Well, you've hit it, Reba. You've hit it. You've hit the nail on the head. That was how I envisioned that character, right? Because the character is based off of someone we all know already, right? That is one of the co-hosts on a certain show, that they're confidential something, right? So it's based off of that person, and then I just started to add other characteristics to this person. And listen, they all want a piece of that man. I don't mean to be vulgar, but they all want a piece of that man. And they're just, they just can't figure out why he didn't pick one of them. How come he picked her? And these ones too, right? Even the married ones. Because you'll hear even the married ones, they're like, when Harry was here, it was literally, he was so much fun. It's let me tell you a very quick story. When we were in the Caribbean, we were in, I remember it was in Port of Spain. No, it wasn't Port of Spain. It was in Kingston. We're in Kingston, Jamaica, and he was just he came out of the transport where he was in, and he was just he was so cheeky. I mean, he would often give me a hug. Oh my goodness. I mean, I mean, he's royalty, and he would hug me ever so often. It was quite tantalizing, isn't it? Reba, I'm not joking, I'll be listening to these people or watch them. I'm like, you're you're like what? Like you are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are the ones that are like, yeah, but my wife, and then the co-host is like, girl, yo, what? Is your wife blind? Oh, listen, I'm not getting into people's marriages. Everyone does what they need to do in order to like make themselves happy. So that's all right. But Reba, you're absolutely correct. Like they're just all in love with him, and it's for them. I think since they don't want to hurt him completely, they just attack Megan. But what they don't realize is that by attacking Megan, they're actually hurting him too. So they all just need to get a freaking life. Get a life and get over this nonsense. Get over it. Gee, you didn't have a chance before, and now it's even worse. I mean, he ain't going back. He ain't going back. People, I had one of the one in the comment section. Someone wrote, and these bots or these people who are writing thing, they've become very clever in some ways because they start out the sentence very sort of agreeable, so you think it's like a supporter, but in the middle part of the comment, that's where they will usually hide their nastiness, right? But don't worry, we catch the hair of Majesty Sussex report. Tricky Dicky, that's what they, no. So the person wrote, um oh, what a great presentation. I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful. It's just so funny that I just remember that the times that Prince Harry was happy was when he was with whatever her name is. Um Chelsea Davies Chelsea or something. And he was always so happy with her. I can't say the same for him now. Now, if you look at the beginning, right, and you're not paying any attention and you just approving messages, you just approve it. But it's actually, ay, ay, ay. I, I just am fascinated by it all, to be quite honest. At the beginning, it kind of frustrated me, and I wanted to be fair and let everyone have be able to have a conversation. But now that I know these people are just idiots, they're literal idiots that don't matter what, they'll still maintain their idiotic opinion and thought when proof is right in front of you. Then why? No, no, bye. As Cookie would say, girl, bye, girl. Did Cookie say that? I don't remember. No, she did. God, I used to love that show. Oh, so good. Um, all right. I guess we should go to the next one. Cookie and cream. Cookie and crema. Um, Hello, cookies and cream. Thanks, Antonio. Enjoyed the podcast. It was fun, fantastic. Invictus Games opening ceremony recap. Thank you. I I thought of just doing just a recap, and then I was like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like doing something silly um, as an addition. So I'm happy you folks enjoyed it. Thank you, and thank you. And now Susie Q. I don't know why I always call your handle like that, Susie. I'm always like Susie Q. It just comes natural. What can I say? Beautifully done, Antonio. I enjoyed every bit of the video. Thank you. It's absolutely my pleasure, Susie Q, and I'm so happy you enjoyed it. And I'm happy that all of you actually have been engaging and commenting and all of that. Makes me very, very, very happy. And I'll take this chance also to say, all the new joiners, subscribers, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's much appreciated. And thank you for continuing to support the channel. It's meaningful to me. And, some of us, listen, I'm not going to make people happy all the time. So give me some grace also, because it's going to be, it's just the way life goes. It's going to be something I might say or do. You're not going to be happy about it. But, give me some grace. And the rest, let's just have some fun. All right.
What's the journey to Fed Life? It's amazing. It's amazing. I think one or two kids is probably enough. I definitely think that. I know lots of people who've got 3, 4. I know some people have got 5. I just say, well, that's your own fault. Having kids is amazing, but it's a journey. Every single day, every single week they just grow and they change. And I love the questions that they ask, the experiences and the challenges they give you. It's great. What's the journey to Fed Life? It's amazing. It's amazing.
On behalf of the Court of Majesty's Sussex Report, we would like to say thank you to our benefactors for this week. Jennifer Clark, thank you for being a benefactor. Paulette Cloud, thank you for being a benefactor.
Do you think about how transformational this experience has been for these athletes? What a difference you've made?
First, it's what a difference we've made. 10 years ago, we created the platform to give every one of them the opportunity to shine and to be recognized for the sacrifices and the service that they've given. So, as I continue to say over and over again, I wish we weren't in this position 10 years later when there's so many people that need the games. But yeah, no, I think about it a lot. I think about it when I'm not here with them. We do these games every 2 years, and the last games was a year and a half ago in Düsseldorf. And in between the games, I'm constantly thinking about, the new stories. Who are we going to get to meet this next time? What is the development? What is the growth of the people that we met a year ago? In some instances, some of these people I met 10 years ago, and they're back round again, either as a competitor or as part of the training staff. So the amount of growth and healing that you witness is quite extraordinary. And some individuals who were physically shaking because of post-traumatic stress or just putting themselves in a really uncomfortable situation are now individuals who are showing and leading the way for the rest of these competitors who are coming into this first time. So we're just one big happy family helping each other out, which is great. And at the same time, demonstrating to so many people watching in the stands and watching at home that what you thought was impossible is actually possible.
Okay, here we go. We've got Boost Mobile, Lola, Angela, Jean, Shirley O. All right, let's see what you folks wrote. So, first one, Boost Mobile. Thank you for your encouraging words. God bless. And keep, I think it's and keep you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Same to you. Same to you. And listen, I'll always have encouraging words. Maybe not always. Yeah, maybe not always. It all depends on my mood, but I try to. I try to anyways. If it's just not encouraging words, it's more, should I call it more like a real nah. I'm gonna call it anything. It is what it is. I think it depends on, sometimes you're in that mood and everything just seems kind of just flat. I try not to be pessimistic about things, but ever so often I allow myself to. And then I just say, okay, you've had enough of that. Now let's get back to, you know, being a positive energy and influence as much as you can. Thank you. Um, Lola wrote, excellent presentation, Antonio. You never fail to give your best. Aw, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I one of my, I think, in interviews when they ask you, well, what is your, what would you say, it's something that challenges you, something negative, or something that doesn't, and I think I should use this, but I don't. But I get very, um, I want things to be so right. I mean, I know nothing is perfect, but as I said before in the previous podcast, once I get something in my head and I see it a certain way, if what I am developing doesn't come close to that thing, I get a little bit frustrated and I kind of like, and I'll spend so much time trying to get it to the place I want it to be. But I've learned with agile way of thinking that you ideate for like, I don't know, half an hour and evaluate. I like it. I don't like it. If you don't like it, then start it. So you keep ideating, but it's fast and rapid, right? Um, but I am trying to scale back a little bit. Um, like for example, when I spoke yesterday about, I was spending an hour, 2 hours on trying to find the right tune or the right music, and it's factual. So today I said to myself, okay, you really need to stop that. Like, I'm giving you a time limit, and I give myself 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to find tune or music or whatever. That's it, 10 minutes, and I'm going to try and stick to that. But thank you so much for recognizing the work, uh, Angela. Hello, Angela. Angela said, you are accurate on what you said about Megan. Harry should have been able to have Archie, Lilibeth, and Doria with them at the Invictus Games. Beautiful, Antonio. God is love, and love wins. I know love wins. And thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Invictus Games. It filled my heart with joy. This made me so emotional. Oh, I don't know why you're gonna make me emotional. It's just such a moving event. I think especially when you learn about people's stories. I've often said that every person that walks this planet has a story, their life story, that is worthy to be in any movie theater, in any cinema. We just don't know it, right? Um, it's an incredible thing, and it hurts my heart when I think about the extra layers of safety, extra layers of um, having to make sure you are smiling or you this or that the Sussexes have to go through. It's just it's so lamentable, and none of this, absolutely none of it, is their doing. It's all external. It's all of it. Uh, anyways, thank you, Angela. And look, we will continue praying. We will continue to elevate and make sure that we do what we need to do, and also, take care of ourselves and take care of our loved ones. So, thank you so very much, Jean. Jean said, thank you so much, Antonio. Well, you are very welcome. Welcome and welcome. I've been looking everywhere for this footage. You did an awesome job. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wanted, there's part of me, Jean, that wanted to include also the um the performances. But then I thought you probably can easily find that on YouTube. And also, I you never know what well, I never know what YouTube is gonna ding me on or not. Like today I received two messages from YouTube telling me like two of the episodes are now not monetized anymore, and this is from like close to a year ago. I'm like, what? It's so weird. Like, I've said this many times, like ever so often, like every 4 months, they'll just pick on my account. They'll just pick on the account, and it's like, this is wrong. We need proof of this. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, what? So that is why I didn't include the music acts. I wanted to include the other stuff that I thought, you know, I knew it had meaning for me, and I thought it would likely have meaning for you folks also. So I am happy that you enjoyed it, and I'm very happy that you found meaning in it too. So thank you so very very much. Shirley O said, fantastic production. Thanks. I couldn't find anywhere to watch the live broadcast of the opening ceremony, so I really enjoyed this. I'm actually now I'm really happy I actually did it. Sometimes I get this hunch, right? And I kept thinking, because the opening ceremony was already like 3 days past or something. I kept going, no one is going to watch this. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I was like, well, I didn't really do a proper kind of like opening ceremony thing. I did post the Prince Harry's speech separate. So Prince Harry's speech is not included in this. You can find the link for the speech. It's in this sorry, in the previous episode. So, and I also thought, well, there are there are elements of the opening ceremony that I really really liked, and it's everything that I brought to you folks, right? Excuse me. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do it. If people watch it, they watch it. If they don't, it's okay. At least I'll have it there. So when I feel like watching it, I'll go back and watch it, right? So I'm very happy that you folks enjoyed it too. Okay, and we've got Joyce Anderson. Hello, Joyce. And Joyce wrote, good Wednesday night to you, Antonio, and everyone. These games are magnificent. They certainly are. Certainly are. It's such a treat. And I'll say it again. Once you start to learn the biography of the people involved, it becomes even closer to your heart. And once again, the blessing that the games are, and the 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 thought, the generosity, the just good-hearted and of Prince Harry to do this and to continue to dedicate his time to it. It means so much to him. I can see it. We can all see it. Incredible. Just incredible. Beverly McCuskell. Beverly said, Antonio, loved this podcast and all the pictures and content that were used. Thank you. My lady, you are very welcome. It is my pleasure. Um, I know sometimes some things hit really well, some things don't, and it'll continue to be that way because I am. I know we all are. We're multifaceted people. Sometimes we find something interesting and we want to share it with the world, and not everyone may want to may want to know or be part of any of that. And then other times, So I find that, I mean, especially when I started, it was such a. Oh, I found myself getting frustrated with myself and feeling sometimes a little lost because I was getting messages, don't do that, like we don't like that, like if you do that again, we're not going to support you and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, I'm making people mad. And I kind of had some really amazing people at the beginning who said, this is why are you doing this? And who's it for? And one of the most important things, I think this was Joan who said this to me. She said, don't lose who you are. Just don't lose who you are. The people who are going to be attracted to your. Oh, I'm going to get emotional now. Gosh, I've got to stop that. Get emotional over everything. Um, I get emotional over the human condition. That's what it is. She said, this is yours. You be you. There's only one of you. You be you. And people will gradually find you. Don't try and be a million things to please a million people because it ultimately will not work. Just be you. That's all you need to be. And I took her advice. And so what you see reflected in this channel is c'est moi. Thank you so much, Beverly. I appreciate it. Fuen, hello, Fuen. I'm going to read just everything down that you have. So thank you and bless you, dear Antonio, for this fantastic podcast. A good leader do not discriminate, as shown by King Charles. Team UK, you are heroes, and we are all supporting you from around the world. Forget petty and envious. We love all our heroes. Head of the UK Armed Forces is King Charles. A no-show to wish the UK team good luck. The history of the First Nations has been brought to the forefront. When I cannot explain to you, and I think perhaps many of you might feel the same way. I got angry, like physically angry. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and do anything or whatever, but I just sat there and I went, what a coward. What a weak man. What a weak man. Like I I do not understand. I do not understand why society is brainwashed and people keep supporting weak people. Like that orange person, there is no valor in him. There is no dignity in him. He's a coward, an absolute coward and a bully. And for some reason, people seem to be attracted to that nonsense. And then they turn around and wonder why things are not okay in the world. I mean, he's just an agent of chaos. He has no intellect whatsoever. Prince, well, King Charles, this this should not be at all about whatever sentiment he has got towards his son. A sentiment that it seems that he's been harboring it since the birth of Prince Harry. Because if he has, not has he definitely had the gall to strip his son, his newborn grandson, and daughter-in-law of their security. And listen, I don't need any royalist or any of you trying to tell me how it works and you don't know British this and you don't know British that. Shut up. Shut up and go sit down. Because the stupid one here is you. If you believe that the king had nothing to do with Harry's security being pulled at one of the most vulnerable times, I've got several moons to sell you. I've got a bridge to sell you that goes to Saturn. Pathetic. Pathetic. That's all I have to say about that. For when the way our indigenous peoples were included, the way they were consulted, is the way it has to be, the way it should be. The respect. I saw a clip, and I don't have it with me here to add it on this episode, where Prince Harry and I'm very emotional today. You know, if I were, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm tempted though. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to say it because I think it's funny. But then some people may think I'm being sexist, so I'm not gonna say it. But I'm gonna give you a hint what I was going to say. You know, because the comment is, I feel very emotional today, and I was gonna say, it's as if I'm on my. You figure it out. Oh boy. Look, I've got enough female friends to like anytime things are going a little bit like sideways, they're like, well, I'm on to this, or like, you know. And I'm like, oh, okay, that explains it. Anyways, I really think that it's a beautiful template to follow. The way how the Invictus Games, in consultation with the foreign nations, with our indigenous people, you know, it's just beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I was just checking to make sure I had my mic on because I think I might have had it off for. Oh boy, oh man, please tell me. Okay, okay, I'm just gonna continue, and then See what I did. Fuan, we'll continue here. The the history of the First Nation has been brought to the forefront. So proud to see all our heroes together as one Invictus family. Hip hip hooray, Invictus heroes. Locked on and taking in every moment. Awesome podcast. Prince Harry, the sole founder of the Invictus Games, is more than deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize. What I see is the Invictus Games creating history and has created a community of many races as one family. Thank you, dear Antonio, for sharing the history of the First Nations of Canada. Goes to show respect begets respect, begets respect. Hero Harry has the love and compassion of his mom. He certainly does. And we see his humility when visiting the Squamish tribe. The First Nations of Canada so graciously welcomed Invictus Games. Bless dear Antonio and all Sussex squaddies. Amen. You know, Fuan, you are absolutely correct in every single sentence, every single thing you said. Um, they were speaking in an interview, and the thing that stood out so much to me, and I think this is why, partially why I get emotional about it, because our Indigenous people have been, as in many Indigenous people around the world, I think of Australia, for example, have been so mistreated. Stereotypes to this day still exist about who they are. And some people think that they're given too much is given to them, and they still can't seem to make do or whatever. I think for people who have not experienced such devastating trauma in their life, imagine for a minute you're at home with your child. This is what you know, this is who you are, in your traditions and your cultures, and out of nowhere, someone just shows up, people shows up, they knock on your door, and they take your children away or your child away. Your 4-year old, your 2-year old, your 8-year old, gone, gone, gone. And you're told, oh, they're going to get a better education, a proper education, the right type of education, because your identity, who you are, is not worthy. It's not good. And what they did, what these people did, was some of the most horrific things to these children. So horrific that so many of them died. And they just buried them in the backyard or in parking lots. It's not only a few years ago that I think some development was going to go up and they were excavated and they're like, all these bodies, they're like, what the heck is this? At a residential school, they didn't even declare that the child had passed because of malnutrition, because of beatings. They would beat these children, beat them. They would assault them sexually and do all these awful things to these children. Gosh, sorry. It's just I think of Africans being taken from Africa, from the different lands in Africa, and you're thrown into this new world. You have no idea what's going on. You you're shackled. You're sold off like you're nothing. You're just a commodity. Our stories are so similar, and there is this trauma gene that is passed to us from generation to generation to generation, because each generation, there's just so much more and more to confront, and there's trauma within us that we don't even know that we're dealing with, and we don't even know because society has not quite gotten to a place that it should be. I had a discussion the other day with someone who said to me, well, I think one should only be hired or um, given a promotion based on merit. And I said, I am with you. I think merit is a good thing. I said, but you're making the assumption that we all are starting out with the same things. And I'm sorry, we all don't start out with the same things. Some people start out way ahead. As a teacher, who I thought I taught in a middle class neighborhood, upper middle classish neighborhood. Those kids had everything available to them, everything. And then I went and I taught in an inner city school. They had nothing. I was buying my kids lunch. I was buying my kids like snacks. I was buying my kids breakfast because they had nothing. And no one can tell me, no one can tell me that these two kids should be evaluated the same. Yes, merit. You should earn it. But there has to be a recognition that this other person had a million obstacles that they had to jump over. This other one didn't. It was a walk in the park. Anyways, didn't mean to get political there. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Because there's too many things that go through my head. All right. Um, we've got also Speedy or Spidey. Um, thanks Antonio or Anthony. It's okay too. Enjoyed your podcast immensely. You're very welcome. I'm happy you did. And you know, keep commenting, keep us keep us moving. Keep us moving. Connie. Hello, Connie Obama. And Connie said, thank you, Antonio, for a wonderful podcast and for sharing everything happening in Invictus Canada. My absolute pleasure. I wish I could do more. There's so many things I would like to do that's in my head, but then I'm like, I need an assistant. I need like this. I need that. I will pay them with like a penny or something. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you, Connie. And Ghislaine, I think yes, as I can't see from here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I think it's Ghislaine. Ghislaine Monestine. Um, Good evening, Antonio, and good evening to you. And thank you. Thank you. I did not plan for this to be an hour. I really didn't. So it's about an hour. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I will post the interview with Prince Harry and with CTV. I'll post that tomorrow. And yeah. I don't want to leave you folks like this. Like, I'm like this little weirdo, just feeling like, I don't know. Maybe I'll try and find like a more a happier song to leave to exit. But or maybe I'll do something jazzy. Yeah, it feels very jazzy, very like kind of like you just sit in at like mahogany walls and you have like a nice I don't know whatever drink. I don't really care, and a piano's playing and yeah, I can just picture it. Picture it. 1962. Anyways, folks, thank you so very much. I love you all. Thank you for putting up with me, and be kind to yourself and take care of your loved ones. And we'll speak soon again. Okay. Thank you. Ciao ciao. Mwah.